Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week's edition of What the Wednesday with myself, Chris, Qualizar, and Dusty, the Game Hopper. We are just two regular guys talking about streamer culture, tech ideas, different advice, overlay design, microphone stuff, whatever we decide to talk about this week. It's usually kind of interesting most of the time, but please stick with us here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to enjoy. We've got some interesting news topics for you this week, going from some updates on Dr. Disrespect. Shroud has resurfaced himself. What's going on with Follow for Follow, and what's going on with YouTube Live. So we're going to take it off here. Go ahead, Hopper. Give us a little bit of information, and we'll get rolling.
What are we giving information on?
I don't know.
I mean, it's been a big week for the big streamers, So obviously we can stop speculating, which is nice. The conversation was always. I mean, again, Dr. Disrespect. There's still a lot looming over that, because there's no set. I haven't seen a set schedule on his behalf. Shroud's thing was obviously an official announcement that he is back. He is home, as he calls it. He's back with us. And you know what? We're happy to have him. Any more viewers he can bring to the platform is going to benefit the rest of us as well. But it's Follow for Follow is going to be a fun conversation as well. I have very strong opinions on that. It's the reason I've left a lot of the small streamer groups that exist out there. So hang tight, buckle up. Should be a good ride tonight.
Okay, so we'll start off since you touched on Doc there right at the beginning. We're gonna just kind of poke Doc a little bit here. We're gonna poke Papa Bear, and just say, can you believe 510,000 viewers was his peak value from his YouTube stream the other day?
The thing that I'm not gonna say it bothered me. I was shocked. Because of the fact that his first 24 hours he was live, it was just like a waiting screen. Like nothing was actually happening.
Yeah, and
he just had the Lambo at the gas station ready to.
And the weirdest thing,
watching it for hours and hours and hours.
And the weirdest thing about that was there was 300 when he first went live, and it was the waiting scene.
Yeah.
There was 300,000 people watching that or something like that. And I was like, what the heck is going on? By the time he finally went live, though, or a couple hours before, it was down to 18,000 or something like that. And then when he went live, it was it exploded again. Everybody was like, why am I watching this for 20 hours, right? What am I doing here right now? And then it just exploded. It was insane. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Shroud hit similar numbers, too. I know we'll get to him in a moment. But both those guys, obviously big personalities. Very different approaches to the streaming game. But they both had a little over 500,000 for the return.
Yeah. So I watched bits and pieces. of the stream, and I've not been a huge fan of Doc in the past, right? I've watched a little bit of his clips. I've watched a little bit of his content. You've mentioned in the past that you've watched his VODs and his YouTube content.
Yeah.
So when I was watching his stream, I was pretty disappointed in the quality of his green screen and his transitions and the bit rate, and everything just seemed like it was subpar for somebody who's streaming to 300,000 to 400,000 people. It just seemed like there was way less attention to detail than I thought I would come to expect from somebody of that level. And it was really weird. Is that something that, you've kind of noticed in the past? Does it go with his outfit? Or
it's funny because I was going to say that even if he's not a personality that some people enjoy, which I do, I love watching him get upset and pissed and scream, which is why I like watching the VODs. I don't really care for watching him play Warzone and stuff like that because I don't really care for the game itself. But I was going to say, usually his production value is quite nice. I'm not necessarily going to say the attention to every detail, but he really does put on a show. He's got a lot of good transitions. I love the CGI scenes kind of where he can walk into his skybox and different things like that in his arena. I like the new RoboDoc thing he's got set up for his subscribers. I like that his personalized Lambo comes spinning in for every follower. So it's neat that he has attention to detail on making sure that there's cohesion across his entire production itself. But I guess I don't pay attention a lot to the background for the green screens. To me, it looks like it's okay. I know he wears a wig, so I don't know if that kind of makes it look a little bit more funny because you can tell it's fake hair with the fake background and stuff like that too. But I always like the production quality.
So who's this? He was yelling at. I watched like 15 minutes of it. This like Alex guy or whatever his like partner guy is. Is that guy real? Is that a real person?
I honestly can't confirm if it's a real person or not. It's just always been the ongoing thing that Alex is the guy managing the stream. You know, he's the one making the transitions, cueing the music, doing this, doing that. But I've never actually dove. I never actually dove into finding out any truth to the Alex character. Or again, if it's, I would have to assume it's not. Obviously, if there might be somebody else assisting him, but I would assume their name's not Alex. Just again, it's another character to go along with Doc himself. So
sure, it's kind of like, so I know Tim has Whips, right? And Whips does like live editing of his overlays, and he's like completely doing stuff like it's real time when he's making changes and stuff like that, and it's really cool. But you know, I was just kind of like he started yelling at this guy, and he's like, "Get out of here! You leave! Wait, come back! I need you today! I need you right now!" And I'm like, I know that's an act, right? Like, I get it. And I know he's not really looking at somebody in the process, but I was like, it just got me thinking, like, when you have a production level of that magnitude, right? You've got that much going on with all your cameras, green screens, etc., right? And you're doing so much. Does he have a crew that helps him operate?
Assume so. I would very much assume so. Especially the production that he has. Because again, you know, he's doing scene switches and stuff like that when he's in his CGI backdrops, unless he's somehow got some triggered, you know, remote in his pocket that he's pushing to go from scene to scene. There has to be somebody else. And again, money like that, it's very easy to afford someone to assist with the production. And you know what? That'd be a nice thing to have. I feel like it would prevent me sometimes from kind of getting lazy about stuff, but.
Yeah.
Or forgetting to switch to my gaming scene and not leave it on just chatting so people miss all the cool content. That seems to happen to me on a nightly basis now. But
so the other side, what do you think about Twitch's reactions to people restreaming his stream?
Were they? Oh
yes.
My god.
People were streaming his stream. Right? Oh no, you can do that. And Twitch explicitly, you are not allowed. So right now we're allowed to talk about Doc. We're allowed to talk about him.
We can talk.
But we're not allowed to mention any of his content, or we're not allowed to play any of his content. We're not allowed to play any of his VODs. We're not allowed to play any of his anything that is a live streamed thing. We're not allowed to play on Twitch right now.
And like if we were playing a game, he couldn't be in that game with us.
It wouldn't be so much. He couldn't be in Discord with us, right? Like we can't play. We can't play with him if we're streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
I mean, I'm not going to say that it necessarily makes sense because I understand that the permaban, again, it's the circumstances. It's tough still with Doc because he still claims, you know, which I'm sure he might not know. The reason for the ban, I think if it's silly stuff, I don't necessarily get, like, they're not getting money from being on someone else's stream, so it's not like they're benefiting. They might be helping somebody else, which that's good for that person, you know? Like, if, say, like, you know, Doc was banned, but, like, say, you know, me and you load up Rogue Company, and he jumps in the party with us, and we're, like, playing with Dr. Disrespect, and we could do that. We'd probably get a lot more viewers than we do on a normal basis, you know?
Sure.
And that'd be awesome for us. He doesn't get anything out of it, but I understand that the permaban is, they just kind of blacklist you from the platform.
Yeah, I would say the fear is, so from a legal perspective, right? Thinking about it on that side, from the legal perspective, I would say the fear is probably that if Doc were to say something bad about Twitch or say something while you were streaming, or, you know, again, if he was playing, like, again, because he used to play. Well, I don't want to say he used to play with Lupo and all them. I don't know if he did actively. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But, you know, if he was playing with other, you know, more prominent streamers and he said something, or, you know, now he's no longer on contract, if he was, you know, defaming or doing whatever, right? Like, it then comes to a point to where, like, now that's on your VOD, right? Like it
Yeah, it's true.
becomes something where now you have recorded Doc's content on Twitch. You've basically allowed him to create his own clips.
Yeah.
Him to allow, he's basically creating
on.
he's creating his own clips on Twitch through you, right? And that's kind of where I can understand that. I believe there was a big volume, no, I don't want to say big, but I believe there was a volume of streamers that got banned because they rebroadcast his content.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to go directly against the rules, so it makes sense. And again, I don't condone that kind of stuff. Like, I'm always skeptical because to me, it's you're not a content creator when you're doing stuff like that. You're trying to profit off of other people's behalf. Like the people who rebroadcast esports tournaments. Like, and I understand the reacts style content if you're in the corner and you're watching it, but I don't know. It's always a gray area in my mind.
Rebroadcasting existing content?
Or like when there's live streams and you're just watching a live stream on your stream, and sometimes it's like, I know a lot of people in the past have done that for like CS:GO tournaments and other things like that.
Yeah,
it's big esports events and stuff.
It is a really big gray area because you have to think that anybody that, like, those players could be streaming, right?
Yep.
And since you're rebroadcasting their gameplay, you're essentially taking viewers from their content or something like that. Like, it's weird if you were rebroadcasting their stream, right? Because essentially, it's the same concept that happened with the DMCA stuff and the concept that comes up with YouTube videos every once in a while as well, right? Because as a streamer, if somebody posts a YouTube video in your chat and they're like, "Hey, watch this video," I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch the video."
Yeah.
That YouTuber only gets one view from you watching it, but you could have 10,000 people watching it with you.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Right? So they're not getting a feed from the people that are watching it with you, so they're not getting all those views, and it's the same kind of concept.
Yeah.
I get it to an extent, but
yeah.
I don't know. It is a weird gray area situation.
It does for sure. And I'm guilty. I watch YouTube videos at the end of streams once in a while, and
I do it. I
don't feel super guilty because I don't have 10,000 people.
I dedicated
watching.
I dedicated my entire stream yesterday to watching whatever people typed in chat. So, I mean, that happened. It was just a thing.
Yeah.
So with 500,000 viewers, right? And to my understanding, Doc has not officially signed a contract with YouTube yet.
No,
I haven't seen anything yet. Do you think, I mean, based on all the super chats, all that kind of stuff, we have to assume that he's going to keep streaming on YouTube, albeit whatever regularity it's going to be. We have to assume that there's going to be some level of him streaming on YouTube after seeing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it shows too that he's done some improvements to some of his production stuff, because I know watching his stream there was some stuff that was different, as far as different pieces of scenes and sources and stuff like that I've seen in the past. So it's neat to see that he still cares about it, still trying to increase, be better. But if he wants to keep making money, he's got to keep himself relevant, and to do that, he's got to keep himself in the public eye. So the big speculation mystery of where has Doc gone is now over.
Right.
So now it's just, is YouTube going to be his new home? Is he streaming on the platform to get numbers to then be like, "Hey, YouTube, look at what I've been doing over this past month. You wanna sit down and talk about a deal?"
And
maybe that might be what it is. He's using it. Yeah, he's going to show.
He would get quite a deal, I'm sure. What was the numbers I looked at? He went up. Hold on. Doc gained 500,000 subscribers within 72 hours of his stream.
Woo!
500,000 subscribers. Oh, and they're saying he was live again. They're saying he was live again today.
He was, yeah. I saw when I checked, he had 70K, somewhere around there. Something like that.
Okay. So even still, if you're pulling in 100K, like on average, if you're pulling in 100K on average on YouTube, you're doing a pretty darn good job. Right, like
so.
that's fairly. I mean, that's fairly large on any platform, right? But I mean, you're
Yeah.
doing a really good job there. Do you think that this forces, and this was kind of what I was leading into. Do you think this forces YouTube to take live streaming a little more seriously?
Something like that.
Okay, so even still, if you're pulling in 100K, like on average, if you're pulling in 100K on average on YouTube, you're doing a pretty darn good job. Right, like
so.
that's fairly. I mean, that's fairly large on any platform, right? But I mean, you're doing a really good job there. Do you think that this forces? And this was kind of what I was leading into. Do you think this forces YouTube to take live streaming a little more seriously?
I mean, do you not think that they do now?
I really don't. I don't think they take it seriously enough to make it a. I don't think they take it seriously enough to make it a dedicated. Well, let's see. To really gauge what the users of the platform want, right? That's the way I want to say that.
I mean, they have deals in place, right, with streamers. I don't know how many they have as like YouTube partnered. I know what Courage is one. Stone Mountain. I'm not sure who else is on that list, but. I mean, I would think, to me, the fact that they've paid people money to stream on their platform exclusively says that they understand how important streaming is. Obviously, a name like Doc takes it to another level. And I'd be very surprised if this is the Doc's plan, if it's what he wants to do. I'd be very surprised if we don't see some sort of deal. But again, I think what he's going to be waiting for is probably whatever legal conclusion of him and Twitch comes to, because obviously he had a deal with them, and I'm sure that was nullified, but I don't know if he's fighting to get money out of it, and in the meantime he can't, just go and sign with this other platform and lose all presence in his current deal with Twitch. But I don't know. I think we'll see at some point though down the road, if the Twitch stuff never gets resolved and the permanent ban sticks, that we'll see Doc's going to become a YouTube exclusive streamer. He's not going to go anywhere else. No other platform exists that can handle that kind of personality.
Right. And that was my thought process too. Like, let's be serious. Doc's not going to go to Facebook. It's just not going to happen. Right. That's not a thing.
No.
Right. Yeah. And then you're looking at the idea that there's nothing else out there. Like, he's not going to do a startup. He's too far in his career that it's not worth him. It's not worth him to do a startup at this point, right? So I really think that he's going. I think if nothing happens with Twitch, he doesn't get it cleared or whatever it is, right? And even at this point, if he does get it cleared, I don't know if he'd come back, right? I think he's going to ride this out.
Yeah.
I think he's going to ride this out, let it settle. And then you're right. He's either going to just stream on YouTube for fun, right? Or he'll sign a contract, right? I don't see him doing much anything else at this point. I mean, back on the YouTube being serious part, I would say that my biggest thing that I've heard in terms of complaints from individuals is like moderation on YouTube, emote control on YouTube, like personalization of the window. Like the stream looks like a YouTube video. Like it looks like a YouTube video. The UI is garbage. And that's what I mean by they don't take it seriously. Like there's nothing, there's no way to set up panels. There's no way to do it. It literally looks like you're just broadcasting inside of a YouTube window. And instead of having the next video on the side, you're having chat. Like that's the only difference there. And YouTube is making no serious attempts to really push for like a custom UI dedicated around live streaming. And I mean, there's really been nothing for it. And that's the one thing that like, I would love to see it, right? Because I think when YouTube does that and they create a platform for discoverability around live streaming, I think then seriously, Twitch is going to have a run for its money. Like that I think YouTube is the one competitor that I've always thought has the opportunity if they really sunk their teeth in it. But we've had the discussion before about how Google is just kind of like, yeah, this is a cool idea. Let's drop a bunch of money into this, and then nah, I don't like that one. I'm gonna go over here now.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's you are right that like if they created even just a main page really for live streams, that made it easier to find who's on, who's playing what. They have the infrastructure, they have the viewership, they have the numbers where they definitely can compete.
I mean, you think about it, like people subscribe much more, well, not much more. Typically when you look at content creators, you see a much higher YouTube subscription rate than you do a Twitch follow rate. Right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like you'll have
I believe so.
You'll have like 100,000 followers on Twitch, right? Say you're big, right? You have 100,000 followers on Twitch. You're only going to have, but you could have a 500,000 to 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
makes me curious actually. Let me check.
Because I mean, I typically think that you'll have more subscribers on YouTube on a given day than you do on Twitch, because typically YouTube is for individuals who are either A, just coming for a quick fix, or B, they're just coming for like a specific content type or something like that, like whatever made your content famous, right? And so you get people that click because they're like, oh, well, he'll create another video like this. He'll create another video like this. He'll create another video like this, right? And so they'll subscribe to come back and help, right? Or to watch the next video. And that's great. Yeah. But going live on YouTube puts you in that pool. So if you have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, it's much easier to get a 1% to come and watch your stream than it is to get 1%, followers on Twitch or whatever, right? Like,
very true. Yeah.
So I think, again, talking about that, if YouTube could get discoverability set up and really dial in, it would be absolutely massive. Like, I think it really could. Harris Heller's one of the ones that says, like, when he was streaming to like 200 people on Twitch, he would go live on YouTube. And when he would go live on YouTube, he'd have like 1,200, 1,300 viewers. And then he would be like, he would stream for an hour or two on YouTube and then be like, hey guys, we're taking this over to Twitch. Anybody that wants to come along, please come over and, this is where we're going to be. And he would actually transition his stream over to Twitch. And that's how he literally brought people to his Twitch.
Yeah. See, and for me, I consider Harris Heller a YouTuber turned streamer, right?
So do you know the full history on him?
I don't. I mean, I know that this Alpha Gaming is not the first channel that he's done.
So Harris Heller was a Vine. He was a Viner.
Okay.
Him and his wife. So him and his wife. He went to school for music. He went to school for music, audio production.
Huh.
And him and his wife.
Your own heart.
Him and his wife used to. Yeah. Him and his wife used to like actually make like full blown YouTube music videos and stuff like that. His wife has a huge YouTube channel. And they were huge. Like they were in like the top 10 Viners or something like that when Vine was in its prime. They had a Gap commercial at one time where because of one of their Vines and stuff like that. I mean, he was really big. And then, Vine went belly up and he had to start all over. And that's where he kind of started doing, that's when he started doing Alpha Gaming and stuff like that, right? That's when he kind of came up with that idea and started doing that. But yes, he has some history. Like basically his whole professional career has been in some type of content creation. Yeah. Right. So he's got quite a bit of experience there. And it's just a little different taking advice from him. I don't know, sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, things have changed for him too, in my opinion, too. That I take things more with a grain of salt than I did in his earlier days.
As he's gotten bigger, it's been tougher to. I mean, it's a fact, right? As he's gotten bigger.
No,
he posted a video. He posted a video the other day of React content, and I was like, here it comes. Here comes the React content. Like he's reached that tier, right? He's reached that tier where now, in order to feed, he's doing React content. It was. Let me rate your streams. Like it was rate your stream setups. A YouTube video on that. And I was like, okay, and this is it. This is React content, right?
Yeah.
Once you reach a certain tier, for some reason, that's just what it becomes, right? Once you get so much, you're in the algorithm.
It's that plateau.
You're in the algorithm. You're in the algorithm. Just keep feeding it, right? Just do whatever you got to do.
Yep. Stay relevant. which is good. It is. It's an adapt to survive type of thing. Obviously, it's you'll find yourself, I'm sure, over time start to lose traction a little bit, depending on what kind of content you're producing, and you got to mix it up to keep things fresh and maybe find a new audience and go from there.
Well,
But,
yeah, once you eat up a certain you're exactly right. Find the new audience. Once you eat up a certain portion of an audience, not that there's not more people out there that are going to subscribe to you, but you've already become the top 5 videos in certain categories. Now you need to become the top 5 videos in other categories as well to increase your exponential growth rate, right? Like continue to increase your growth rate. That's the point.
Yep.
I was watching a video the other day, and it's the rule of 1% on YouTube is a very, very finite. It's a very, very finite rule, and like it's max 2%. So it's like for every 100 views you get 1 subscriber. Right? That's just it's a rule of 1%. For every 100 views you get 1 subscriber. And as you grow, that actually gets less because you're getting that many more views, right? It's still it ends up becoming like it still floats around 1%, but it slowly gets like less, right? Because but it's just interesting. Like you'll end up with 1,000 views and get 8 subscribers or something like that. So it's just under 1% or whatever it is, right? It's not like it's way less, but it's really interesting the way that kind of flows out. But it's kind of one of those, just like that though. You need to find ways to hit multiple categories in order to keep increasing the number of views you're getting, in order to keep increasing your subscriber count, et cetera, right? And keep growing.
It's a freaking never-ending battle, man.
Oh,
I mean, I know too, people on YouTube, it's very rare, I think, that they get more than like people watching their videos. Maybe I want to say like there's a channel I watch and they regularly talk about it. I think it's like normally numbers for them is anywhere between like 30 and 45% of the people watching their content are actually subscribers. And it's usually well over 60% that are not subscribed to the channel but watching the videos.
Those are actually
over and over and over and over,
Those are actually really good numbers. I mean, I got in the past 28 days, right? In the past 28 days, I got 10,000 views, right, on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right. So guess how many, guess my percentage of subscribers for my YouTube videos.
Like of people watching?
Yeah. Of views. Number of views out of 10,000 views.
Okay. Out of 10,000. Gotcha. That were from subscribers. And you're saying that those were good numbers. 500.
Oh, well, I mean, in a percentage, out of 10,000?
20%.
Oh.
We'll go 20%.
Wow. I wish. It was 2.5%.
No? 2.5%?
2.5% of my views were from subscribers.
Jeez. That's YouTube, right?
I mean,
even
it's
with
just
discoverability, it doesn't mean they're going to click that one little button.
The one little button right there. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. And that makes, and in all honesty, I was like, okay, so thinking to myself, I was like, according to the rule of 1%, I'm actually doing okay. Like I must be doing something right because I'm over 1% right now, right? I was like, okay, I did something, right? But I mean, it was just one of those interesting. I was like, wait a minute, kind of thinking about it because I saw that the first couple times I looked at that number, I was like, I must be doing something wrong. Like this is not working out the way I wanted it to. But and some of those, a lot of those, I could say are probably like somebody clicked on a video and they were like, this is not what I thought it was, and they click off, right? And then all of a sudden then that view is there, but you don't gain anything out of it.
Like the retention.
Right. The retention. Yeah. But I mean,
the analytics are a lot of fun to look at.
Oh yeah.